Good evening, good evening. As usual, I'm going to spend some time just jibber jabbering to make sure that our tech is working fine. And just having a chat, having a conversation to kill time for nothing else. So please do type in on chat. I already see Namanithan saying hi. I've seen Nikhil Sharma saying how many students are approximately giving All India mock test of 2 IIM. Proprietary information, Nikhil Sharma. I'm sure you can get the data. Ping us, we'll give it to you. Very good numbers, very good numbers, especially this year. Good sign, but not anywhere comparable to actual CAT numbers, obviously. Good evening. I just want to check about just one of you guys. Please tell me whether the audio and video are both fine. I have a dummy screen here. The video seems fine, but audio I just want some confirmation. Somebody says, "Hey, you can indeed see me and hear me." I'll be thrilled, happy, content, and say, "Hey, this is working." And carry on with the session and give an outline of what we have lined up today and take it from there. Good evening to all of you. Fine. So, travel with me says fine. Lovely name, travel with me. Lovely. What is the agenda for the day? We're going to do a question and answer session, AMA. Yeah. Sorry. There's some adjustment Ashwin is doing, but I'm going to carry on because I think it's a minor tweak here and there. First of all, happy Independence Day. It's a special day, 2024. Independence Day is always special, so it is harking back to our history. I think something all of us can unify and be there and say, look, this is a brilliant thing that we did and got rid of our overlords and then got our own country. Right? So we've been around as a civilization for a long time, but as a country for a much shorter span of time. So it's with great pride and joy that we typically celebrate August 15th. And all of us have favorite functions and stuff. So I'm a big sucker for August 15th. I really like it. I don't know why. I don't even know why. But August 15th is special. Something that we hang on to and say, hey, no, it's nice. It is important to celebrate that day and say, hey, we got independence on this day. Kind of a hat tip to the greats who did the job and got us to this point. Hat tip to all the people who have been part of our journey so far. One element of taking stock of how far we have traveled with its own sets of pride and regrets, and some amount of optimism for the future. And so I'm an optimist. I'm an entrepreneur in India, and it's just like if you're not an optimist, you'll get buried in weeks. And so I'm an optimist. So I always think that the next gen is going to do better than us. So I'm super hopeful that all you guys will do a million things way better than we did. You're conditioned better, you're brought up better, you don't have the scarcity mentality that probably held us back. You're ambitious, you're hardworking, enterprising, everything. And then, in some ways, you have the advantage of having had us go through our experiences, be wiser for it, and pass on some of it to you. So I'm of the firm view that the successive generation, at least in India, is going to do better than we guys did, economically, culturally, harmoniously, everything. So every time people keep hearing saying India is getting torn apart and all that. It does happen. It is happening every now and then. Not good. Lots of problems. Our country has lots of problems. It is still better positioned than it was 25 years ago. It will be even better position than it is now 25 years from now. And so in as much as like an Olympic thing, carrying of the torch is being done, given from one to another, I think our previous generation handed us something good. We're going to hand over something good. I'm not done by any means. I'm not passing something on to you guys, but I'm just saying, metaphorically, I think it is in good hands. I'm not this believer in saying, "Ye generation kya hai, yaar pura bigda hua hai," nonsense. I firmly believe that successive generations have been better. Not like that they're better. They have had a better pedestal. They've had more knowledgeable parents, more aware parents, better society, better place to deal with, all of that. It's good. Notwithstanding all the problems, it is good. Anyway, enough of that. I'm going to jump on. What do we have lined up for today? About 20 minutes of answering questions that have already been given. 20 minutes of taking Q&A. and then saying goodbye all over. Not a long session. I want to finish it off by 8:45. Sometimes these overly long sessions lose their power, their energy, enthusiasm. So 45 minutes is the target. Hang on to your questions. In 15-20 minutes, I'll clear off the questions that have been given. Abhishek has been put together a collection of questions that are representative and kind of widely asked. Right? Lovely. Let's jump in. I struggle with the quantitative aptitude section. Despite completing the topics, I find that I'm consistently making silly mistakes or facing sudden gaps in my understanding, even with the easier question. What should I do? Sometimes this happens because the consolidation is not happening at the pace it should. So sometimes this happens because revision has not been focused upon. Right? You have to learn what is called as a spiraling model. You learn 3 topics, revisit 1. You learn 4, 5, 6, revisit 2, 3. You learn 7, 8, 9, 10, revisit 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, then go to 11, 12. And then revisit 5, 6, 9, 10, then go to 13, 14. Then do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So which is why when your topic orders should involve basic fundamental topics very early on, because they are the building blocks for later on, and they get revisited a number of times. You have to have a preparation schedule that aggressively includes a revision. Ideas flying out of the head is very common. It is very natural. So it is impossible that this doesn't happen. Gaps in understanding is built into the process. हो ही नहीं सकता कि gaps in understanding ना हो. And so you completely grab onto one thing, and then after 2 months, you feel like, look, I've never studied this before. It happens to everybody. It has to happen. That's how our brain operates. So you have to incorporate revision very, very, very aggressively. That's a big solution. Revision for practice and speed building and consolidation, revision for learning fundas. Both you have to incorporate in it. The other element that could be contributing silly errors is fatigue. You're too tired when you're doing the question, you're not switched on. In a mock context, that can happen. So you take more mocks, your stamina keeps going up gently, slowly, but inexorably. It does go up dramatically. So we will so do that. Don't let go of that. How to plan mocks? Aggressively, systematically, with a lot of discipline. And the mantra for mocks, according to me, is one anchor for mocks has to be around discipline. You have to say right about now that every Sunday evening or every Saturday evening or every Friday night, some one time slot, you will be taking a mock every week from now till the week before CAT. You will add on another mock if needed or if time permits and all, but one anchor part of the schedule super religiously for the remaining 15 or 16 weeks, you will have a schedule. You must have a schedule like that, where taking mocks should become a practice. You're cultivating a habit. I think it's a famous statement by Aristotle. You are what you do repeatedly, over and over again. So if you have this habit of saying every Sunday 2 to 4 I am taking a mock, then your body is trained. Your body is you're not going to plan for a holiday out. You're not going to eat out go out for lunch, meet friends, watch TV, catch up on emails, be on WhatsApp. None of that. So one super rigorous one time slot per week dedicated to mocks for the next 15 weeks, 14 weeks, you must have. Another layer you can add on to it. You have to be super intense during the mock, absolutely not negotiable. But one anchor of super disciplined weekly slot, it can do wonders to your preparation. Mark that down. There's one trick you're carrying away on mock planning, it is that. In addition to the CAT, I also want to take the GMAT and apply to ISB. How should I prepare and schedule for GMAT? Should this be done before or after CAT? Either way works. Sometimes this is completely determined by deadlines. So if you're not keen on deadlines for this year for ISB, then you can take GMAT after CAT. If you're keen on deadlines this year for ISB, you may end up having to take GMAT either immediately after CAT or before CAT. Typically, if you're preparing very aggressively for CAT, then a month and a half is enough to prepare for GMAT. If you're a fresher and or with someone with 1 year experience, then CAT is the main thing. Finish CAT off, then take GMAT, have the score in the bag. Don't worry about applying now. You're practically thinking about the next cycle. If you're someone with 4 years experience and GMAT is as relevant as CAT or maybe more, then work backwards from your round 1, round 2 deadline. Are you keen to catch round 1, in which case GMAT should happen before? Either exam you take before, the second exam becomes simpler. CAT requires about a much longer preparation window than does GMAT. If you prepare for CAT, GMAT can be tacked on in 4 or 5 weeks. Lovely. Is it important to learn algebra in depth, feeling uncomfortable with it, and how algebra non-friendly people need to prepare? How to increase VRC score? Chuck at 15. Algebra non-friendly people. I'm there. I'm there in that brigade. Fine, I'm comfortable with algebra because I've been doing this for years and I'm very happy doing math. But among the math topics, I don't like algebra. If there are too many x's and y's, my brain doesn't have an intuition towards thinking about x cube plus y cube minus 3xyz. It doesn't flow like that. Whereas with numbers, I'm comfortable with arithmetic ideas, I'm comfortable with geometric ideas, I'm comfortable, but algebra spooks me. And so it is completely fine. You can stay outside of algebra and get 98, 99 percentile. Arithmetic gives you, give or take, 40% of the marks, 40 to 50% of the marks that are available, you can get with arithmetic. Another 4 or 5 questions can come from geometry plus, geometry, trigonometry, mensuration, coordinate geometry, that part. That takes you to 15 questions. If you 15 questions are available, you attend 13 of them, get 12 of them right, you're coasting away to 98, 99 percentile. Beyond this, algebra plays a role, or you can go towards modern math and number systems and permutation probability and set theory and all of that. They have 2 or 3 questions. So if you're fiercely uncomfortable with algebra, you can carve out a strategy which is arithmetic in the bag, geometry, then just quadratic equations in algebra, and leave out everything else and still get 99.5 in quant. It is possible, a route is available. What happens if you completely leave out one chunk is your decision making pressure is higher and you need to plan more aggressively on it, because if you're having only 16 questions to shoot for, you feel the pressure to attempt everything, and sometimes you end up not skipping the really stinker question from coordinate geometry because you feel like वैसे भी algebra छोड़ रहा हूँ, इसको तो करना ही है. And that sometimes messes with you. So you have to be very careful and say, look, I'm leaving algebra, I still got this, and not put more pressure on each topic just because you've skipped one giant topic out of the way. Even in that, get super comfortable with quadratic equations. Go to town with quadratic equation, leave the other parts out. Super, this is a very important announcement. We have an all-day marathon tomorrow. And we're doing a 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. session. All that is, the details for this are already available on YouTube. There's another video. There's available in the description here. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're covering the entire arithmetic range. We're doing it as a series of tests and discussions. So 6 tests, 6 discussions. I've gone through all the questions. They're really good. They're fiercely representative. I'm very, very keen to do sessions. For me, CAT sessions have to be CAT level. So we're very particular that every single question be within the range that we can expect to see in CAT. Not too difficult, not too easy. So sometimes the workshops err on the side of excess, err on the side of too difficult. They're particularly good. You will find some of these papers, we're taking 10 questions that you can attempt 9 of them, probably expect to get 8 of them right. It is very important to prepare for those kind of questions also, because there's every chance that CAT could be like that, where you're optimizing for speed and efficiency and not for great difficulty. And super important. I've seen all the questions, they're lovely. It should be a blast going through this. Those of you who are saying, look, I'm having a go at CAT, and everybody keeps saying arithmetic is important, let me jump in. If you're doing that, reach out to us. All descriptions, everything is available on all details are available on the description of this video and other videos on YouTube. Right. Lovely. That is there tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. What better day to celebrate? What better way to celebrate Independence Day than this? And there are also wonderful discounts available for the 2 IM crash courses and 2025 courses, both of them, on tomorrow, day after, and the day after that. That is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, on the Independence Day weekend. As I said, we really like Independence Day at 2 IM. So we said, look, we will make sure that wonderful offers are available. Those details are also again available on YouTube. Please do check them out. This is a theme, and I can do this all day. My score in each section is varying, and I'm not able to cross 80th percentile. When I am analyzing the mock, I solve more questions. I'm not able to solve under time pressure. The clock ticking is panicking me. How to work on this, man? One of those beautiful questions, frequently asked, a big bugbear. One of those things that we as so-called experts have very little to offer beyond, hey, keep at it, keep the faith, practice, and this will go away. The time pressure element is never going to go away. The exam pressure element is never going to go away. But if you've taken 4 mocks so far, I can tell you with super confidence, when you take 14 mocks, then this thing comes more naturally. You're not bigging up a mock. You're not looking at a mock and saying, oh, ले रहा हूँ, पता नहीं कितना आएगा, क्या टेंशन है, कितना परसेंटेज क्लास होगा इस बार, VRC अच्छा होगा कि नहीं होगा. All of those tracks kind of ease off, and you feel like, look, I got this. I've taken marks. This is how it is, and do that. So the exam pressure, time pressure element shrinks with more marks that you take. Second thing, we sometimes wildly overestimate how much we can score in a mock when you're going through the paper. I've seen so many mock papers where I'm confident that I'll score 150 marks when I'm analyzing it and going through that. And then if I'd taken it as an exam, I would have got 80 marks, which is really good, but it's nothing on 150. The 80 to 100 may be time pressure and mock pressure. 100 to 150 is my fantasy. I could never have scored 150 in that. So very often when you're analyzing a mock, everything seems easier. It is not. There's always a couple of catches later on. There's always some difficulty there. Some computation is tricky. So every question seems easy unless you get down to doing it. There's a famous quote from Mike Tyson. Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. So CAT is like that. As a non-engineering student, I'm weak in class. I hate that contention. Right? This whole, as a non-engineering student, I'm weak in quant. No, I'm not yet comfortable with numbers. The non-engineering part has no bearing. Sometimes we like to have protective shields around us. A reason for our own performance or lack. Right now, so many students are using the non-engineering thing as a shield. I know so many engineers who are also not comfortable with mathematics, who are panicking, who are just like you. And you can, if you see them, then you'll find an enormous kinship with them, that this tag will melt away. Right now, you're struggling with quants. Don't tell yourself that it's because of the non-engineeringness that it is doing it, because then we pick up this engineering and mathematics link, which is just not there. Speak to your engineering friend. They'll tell you, look, यार मेरा वो engineering का math और इसमें कुछ भी link नहीं है, कुछ और ही है. That's whole lot different. I come and solve this geometry question. I've not done geometry for 4 years, just like you have not done geometry for 4 years. And my toolkit to handle this geometry question is vague, weird. Right? So you can say I'm struggling with quants. Start from scratch, do tons of practice, it'll fall in place. Don't let this non-engineering branding to hold back your ambition. You should go toe-to-toe with everybody. Those who prepare have a good chance of cracking this exam. What their background is, it definitely plays a role. I'm not kidding. Right? I'm not saying it doesn't play a role, but it plays a far smaller role than we think it does. We brand ourselves and get conditioned by it. Don't. Right? To clear sectional cutoff, is arithmetic enough? 100% yes. When I've taken CAT from 2017 onwards, all the CATs, even before that I've done the solutions for all questions in all sections of all CATs. They're available on our YouTube channel. And I can tell you, in every single CAT, every single slot, if you pick only the arithmetic questions and not do all of them, because 2 of them could be very difficult, do the doable ones among them, you're getting at least 88, 89 percentile. Go do the math, check with the percentile scores. Obviously, you can't do it for all of them. Take CAT 2022, take one slot, see the paper, go to 2IIM website, see the paper, and then list down all arithmetic questions, just question numbers, and then say, look, these 2 are too difficult for me. Baki sat, so remaining 7 I will take. I have got it. That is 21 marks. Go to the percentile versus score thing. For that 21 marks, it will be more than 89 percentile. Any paper, you randomly take 2, you will get to know exactly what I'm saying. 100% you can clear. Right? I'm also planning to start modern math and to complete this by end of the month, which is good. But sit down and become the king of arithmetic before you go anywhere else. Is it okay to do an MBA with 7 to 8 months of work experience? Definitely yes. Fine. The lesser work experience is not going to hold you back. It is tougher to get in, but it's not a crime. If you get a good CAT score and you get a chance, you should grab it and do the MBA. You should not say my lack of experience is going to hold back my MBA value. It is not. In fact, internships are way better for students with lesser experience than with more experience. It is tougher to get in because they give points for work experience. But otherwise, it is in your interest to do an MBA as early as possible. Lovely. With that, I'm done with the questions here. I'm going to go here. I'm going to start having a look at the screen. Shift that male engineer with this profile, what should I target? See, you will get this answer. I keep hearing this a lot. Sometimes I find it little worrying that this number occupies the mind of people so much. Your preparation plan does not change with a target percentile. So, suppose I say, okay, with your profile you will need 98.6257. How you'll prepare for it versus me saying 97.8258 is no different. And so, don't get conditioned with chasing a variable that you can't find with certainty and that doesn't have a relevance on your preparation. There's an old saying about wars and battles. You should fight those battles that you can win, that are meaningful. And two beautiful conditions to fight a battle. If you're super meaningful and fighting for the rights of people, but then you get smashed, there's no point. Right? You can win, but not meaningful, everybody is a loser. Right? Typically, similar to that, in questions where you can confidently get a right answer, that has a material impact on your plan. This one has neither. If I say 98.526, I'm just shooting a number. If it is 98.526 versus 97.793, there is no difference in how you will prepare. And I know all of us like to have one clear number to go with, but in this case it doesn't matter. Two months into my, this I'm asking a question from Divyanshu. 2 months into my CAT preparation, current scores 55, QA 6, LRDI 10. How shall I work on improving this? Oh, your VA is off the charts. If you have one bazooka strength, that's a gift from the heavens. LRDI, your plan should be to say, I'll get one right in every mock. That's your first target. With your VA as strong as it is, you do one LRDI, you're waltzing through. For Quant, get arithmetic in the bag, slowly build other things. Your combination for a great score is probably going to be 50, 20, 30. Going to 100, which is nearly 99.8, 99.7 percentile. Having a 50 as something that you can anchor on is super relaxing. Good evening, sir. This is Shrey Chopra. RC sectional, oopsie, the question has gone away somewhere. RC sectional scores vary. I feel like I'm able to comprehend it well, get the main idea, but the questions stump me always. There's this feeling that I can do it, but I can't. Okay, you see, this is important. The RC sectional volatility being there. I think Chatin is a big fan of reiterating this point. He keeps saying that don't take more risk than you should. What he means by that is the people who are more competent should be the ones who are taking more risk. So get your competence slowly higher, measure your risk, and then do it. I have a very nice toolkit to handle accuracy. Whenever I finish a mock, please, I used to do this very religiously when I was taking my serious mocks. These days I'm more flippant about it. I'm not taking it seriously, right? So I shouldn't pretend as if I'm taking it seriously. So these days I'm flippant about it, but when I used to take my mock, we used to have to guess a lot. Our mocks papers had 160 questions. You had to attempt 105, 110 in 2 hours. You had to take chances. And so I would, after I finished the paper, I would have a clear sense of, okay, these questions in, say, let's say verbal, I attempted 36 questions, 21 I'm confident, 15 I punted. And then I write down this 21 and 15 and then measure out my success rate. I want to have 19 out of the 21 right. The 15 can go either way. And your volatility in scores could be because some of your guesses or your risk has not gone your way today. If your anchor score is very good, then you should be taking that risk. And you'll get better and better at taking that risk. That's important. But when you're analyzing, you should say, look, I've attempted 14 questions in verbal today in this mock. These 9 I'm sure of. Those 5 I've punted. Of the 9, if you've got 8 right, and of the 5, you've got only 2 right. That's all right. That's all right. But if it were of this 9, you've got 4 right, of that 5, you've got 2 right, then you're in trouble. Then you have no sense of what you can control. So measure your risk and say, look, these I'm confident of, these I'm not sure of at all. Before looking at your question by thing, go through the sections and say, these 10 I'm confident, those 5 I'm not confident. You still might take a decision to say, if 10 questions I'm confident, 5 or 6 without confidence, I can still punt if it is 1 out of 2. Right? So measure out your risk. Second thing that I noticed had a big breakthrough on my performance is I would get the main idea, I would get the crux of the passage, I would easily shortlist 2 choices. After that, I became lazy intellectually. I would say it is between B and C. One day it is my day, one day it is not. I'm going to mark B. At least I'll save time, go to the next one. Which is a pain because they have created 2 close-looking choices and they're looking to reward the guys who spend the extra 15 seconds or 30 seconds or 45 seconds looking at these 2 and going, no, this one is wrong. And I was not even playing that game. I was clearly saying 1 and 2, let me take a chance. So sometimes we don't even evaluate the last 2 choices because it's like, kabhi aayega, kabhi nahi aayega, mark karke jata hu. Don't do that. Don't do that. Spend time in resolving those 1 and 2s. Realistic comparison of marks versus overall percentile. You put CAT score versus percentile, it is available on several websites. You'll know this. Last year's CAT, something like that, 55-60 is for 90th percentile, 92-94 is for 99th percentile. 90 is for 99th percentile. No, less than 90. 86-85 is for 99th percentile. I'm facing issues in VRC in terms of accuracy. Anish Singh, just now we discussed that, so I'm going to skip that question. But Salya Sharma, when I give mocks, by the time quants come, I get exhausted. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. This happens to all of us. Right? So I'll tell you some tricks. One of those could work for you. First of all, physically cheating your brain really helps sometimes. Right? Our brain can get conned for 1 hour, 2 hours very well. Right? So when I used to play football, I had very poor. I mean, I still play football for my college, in my college. So my captain used to be a midfielder. He used to get annoyed at me for not running up and down. And I would wait and be the playmaker, which is silly when you're in second year college. And you need to run, you need to track back. So he would push me. And if I saw my captain doing this, I would run. Like my life depended on it. And so he was a very good captain, by the way. And then he said, look, sometimes nahi chal raha ho, you take a break like this, take 2 deep breaths and you're back. You can cheat your brain. And so sometimes you can cheat your brain. These are 3 exams of 40 minutes each. When LRDI gets over, when the system is loading, stretch your hand, look out, take a deep breath and tell yourself, I am not tired, 40 minutes to nikal lunga main. And then start, it should work. It should work. That is one part. Taking lots of mocks sets you up. One of our guys who had fatigue issues made a preparation plan where he said, look, I'm going to take a mock and a sectional every time. So I'm doing not a 2-hour paper, I'm doing a 2-hour 40-minute paper. So I'll finish a mock, immediately do a sectional. That means my 2-hour mark is not the end. So I'm not saying, abhi hone wala hai. I'm saying, look, uske baad hai mera kahani. So I need to be fully energetic at 1 hour 59 because I have another 40 minutes to go. Just in my journey, not my destination. So he did this with a 2-hour 40-minute kind of bent. He was crazy. So he did one instance where he did back-to-back mocks. So he said, if one day I can hang in for 4 hours, subsequent days hanging in for 2 hours should be fine. In that, this could be useful. And you hang in there for 12 hours or 8 hours or 10 hours and you power through and you have this community feeling of everybody powering through, cursing each other and swearing at each other and being super tired but still turning up there. Then you feel like, ho jayega, utna bhi, I'm not that tired, I can hang in there. Right? On the workshop, all the links will be sent to you by midnight. You're just compiling it and sending it to you. Several people have been worried about getting the workshop link. 100%, I may not say 100%, will most likely have it. I'm just not saying 100% because I don't want to play with the jinx gods. Right? So God knows what will happen to weather and internet and all that. Weather and internet and worldly variables complying. We'll have the sessions. Have some faith. You will get the links. We are doing this on a test and discussion format. At 9 a.m. you'll have to take a test. You can't sit for somebody to give you an instruction to take a test. 9 to 9:50 test, 10 to 10:55 discussion. 11 to 11:50 test, 12 to 12:55 discussion. Every test is for 50 minutes, every discussion is for 55 minutes. 5 minutes, 10 minutes is the break which will typically go away in just changing from one Zoom to another. So those breaks we use, we drink water, we get recharge, have coffee, have lunch, all of that. Fine. So, but that is the schedule. So you have to start at 9 a.m. sharp with a test. Remember that. And you will get the links for the Zoom and the test by midnight today. and midnight today, and tryst with destiny. And lovely. Can you please suggest some tips for time management and quants? Also, thank you for the videos you post. They are very, very helpful. Thank you, Aruna Bajaj. Time management and quants. Two rules I really like. I really like for two rules. First one, when in doubt, leave. Err on the side of leaving. So have rules for leaving. Long question, leave. Topic that you don't like, leave. 2-3 questions that are coming, leave. So all of those times, leave as much as possible. Wherever it is, wherever it opens up, leave that. Whenever possible, leave the question. Have clear rules for leaving, not for solving. That really, really helps, really, really relaxes. And you should say, when I'm leaving a question, I'm happy about it. Right? The round 1, round 2 strategy really works for some people. They say, round 1, I'm going to do the absolute freebies. And round 2, I'm going to do the slightly trickier ones. And so round 1 for freebies is super helpful for time management. Abhishek has given me some note. Right. Okay, super. Lovely. I'm going to go here. So that's a very good question here. Give me a second. I'm just scrolling here. Not gone away. Hang in there. Ansh Bhandari, I'm going to start with that. I'm just going to change the screen. I'm stuck in the loop of 70 to 80 marks. That's a very good place to be in. So 70 to 80 marks is already a good percentile. Now we should fill gaps and fill vulnerability areas. Just practicing and more marks should take you closer to that 90-95. On your day, if you score above 100, you're flying. From here, naturally, marks and tweaks will take you to that level. Wonderful place to be in. Scores are in 55 to 60. What next? We're doing a series of videos on preparation strategy for each level. There was one question which was there about LRDI, which I think yesterday we discussed in our internal Zoom session. So one thing that I found a lot of students missing out on for LRDI is there are about 90% of students who take CAT. This is statistically sound, by the way, do not crack one puzzle. So a lot of us guys were giving strategy for puzzle selection and saying, do se kar lo, teen kar lo, isme se kuch kar lo, are all talking bollocks because it is not relevant for 90% of the students. Right? There's every chance that a great many students are having this pattern. 10 मिनट के लिए एक LRDI ट्राई किया, कुछ हुआ नहीं, भागा एक और के लिए 10-12 मिनट हुआ, कुछ हुआ नहीं, फिर से वापस आया फर्स्ट वन के लिए 5 मिनट गिव अप मारा, and then just wilted in the last 15 minutes, took 3 chances with theta question, hoping for 3 marks in LRDA. It's not a rare occurrence. It is happening to me in every other mock. There are about 75% of students who are in this brigade, who simply don't see a path to themselves of cracking one LRDA set. And that's a dangerous place to be in because you can't clear section cutoffs. It's going to drag your score. It's in trouble. What you should do, you should go to previous year mocks, CAT 2017, 18, 19. Completely remove the element of time or sectional or practice test. Take one puzzle and say, I'll take an hour and a half, but I'll solve this. Take one more, I'll take an hour and a half and solve this. Go through the solution. You need to have built this habit of taking 10 CAT previous year question puzzles and seeing yourself solve it, mark answers, get them right, to get this first layer of belief saying, मेरे से तो एक set हो ही जाएगा. Fine. After that, you can worry about question selection and patterns and this and that and all of that. But the first step is to say, I'll crack one LRDI set. That is going to come by saying 2017, 18, 19, I'll shortlist, I'll do one puzzle at a time, completely agnostic to the idea of time, because I need to mark C, B, C, A, D, and fully expect all 5 to be right. If it took me 90 minutes, so be it. I'll bet you that if you keep at it, it'll come to 40 minutes. And then you know, even if I select the wrong set, I can see it through in 40 minutes, get 5 questions right. That puts me at 92nd percentile. Once that wiring happens, then question selection becomes more meaningful. Those of you who are absolutely struggling to get any marks in LRDA में marks ही नहीं आ रहे हैं. I'm not able to get marks, which is 90% of the students, by the way. I'm not getting marks in LRDA. Then you have to get your mind conditioned to the idea of saying, I can do LRDI. One puzzle at a time, infinite time, 10 days in a row, then come back and play this game. It rewires your brain. Taking a gap year will negatively impact. I don't think it changes for CAT because it's completely data based, but it does put a spanner in the works for your interviews. It becomes a pain. Where to start Quant and where to end. M.R. Madhavan, always, I'm never going to change this. I've been very, very stubborn about it. Arithmetic is a starting point. Almost like a flow chart. Arithmetic first, second, third, in the bag, super comfortable. Then you have a choice, either arithmetic or either algebra or geometry. In geometry, what do I include? Geometry, trigonometry, mensuration, coordinate geometry. In algebra, what do I include? Linear and quadratic equations, inequalities, functions, polynomials. दोनों में से एक. With this, you have a route to 98 percentile. After this, what is remaining is modern math, number theory, permutation, combination, set theory, that brigade. Right? After this, you can either go to that or the other one among algebra and geometry. That is your choice. Those of you who want 99.8 in Quant, you have to do all 4 chunks. Anyone has to be super comfortable with arithmetic before going to the next one. The next step is either algebra or geometry. Choose based on your preference. Some people really like drawing a diagram and mulling around with that. Some people really like dealing with x's and y's, but they don't have a visual part. Based on that, pick and choose. Hi Rajesh, thanks for all the effort you have put in your video. My question is for quants. Do you think arithmetic, logs and exponential allegations and work time are enough to get a 99th percentile? That may be tricky. For 92, 93, yes. But if you want to flirt with being in the top 1%, you can't just say I'll make do with arithmetic. In the odd cat, it may work, but not every time. If your ambitions are at 99 level, you have to add one of algebra and geometry, definitely, and maybe the other also. Convert IFT and CAP IMs, very demotivated this time. I don't know why in mocks I mess up in any one section. Yuvraj Shankar. It happens, I think you may be rushing your coming back and you feel like your benchmark is what it was last time. It's going to take you a month and a half to hit that benchmark. If you're super football player and you've not played for a year, and you'll be rusty when you come back. Your feet won't move, your balance won't be there, your idea of a pass won't be there. It's as simple as things like going to the gym or bicycling. Your muscle memory gets lost. So maybe you just set your benchmark. You want to start preparing for this year's CAT and you want your level to be where you left off last year. हो ही नहीं सकता. Chance ही नहीं. You cannot expect it to be like that. It will take you a month and a bit to come back to somewhere in that ballpark. And then you amp up intensity and try to overtake that point. If you said, look, finally I was consistently getting 97th percentile, this time it will probably start at 72, be dispiriting. You have to drag it to 95 and then start all over again. Very often I find students getting annoyed or demotivated because they feel like my preparation is 2 steps behind what it was last year. ये कैसा हो सकता है? बिल्कुल हो सकता है, ऐसा ही होगा. And then you'll have to combat it. I've been failing in DLR in the last 3 years with 98 percentile overall. Please help how to provide. Parag Paliwal, this has worked for a lot of our students. It works for me. Previous year questions, one at a time without any pressure on timing. Keep doing that and then it should fall in place. Don't put, give me a second, I'm just trying to manipulate this. Something's wrong with my screen. Okay. Lovely. So get one LRDA at a time from previous year papers, get them in the bag, build your confidence slowly. You do one, that is 90th percentile in LRDA, and then you're through. Good evening, sir. I plan to take mocks twice a week. Give me a second. I'm just going to refresh this. How to schedule taking mocks, reviewing them, and practicing. One time slot should be anchored. The time slot per week and day should be fixed, and the other one can be floating. That's typically how I would do it. Is CAT better or GMAT better? This is from Mustafa Irfan. CAT is tougher. CAT Quant is tougher. CAT Verbal is broader. CAT LRDA is a complete nightmare. So CAT is tougher. You need 8-9 months sometimes to prepare for CAT. You can make do with half the amount of time or even lesser for GMAT. The different style exam, for some CAT works, for some GMAT works. CAT is an Indian exam. So people who are part of the Indian competitive exam setup sometimes are more comfortable with CAT than GMAT. GMAT doesn't test computation, doesn't go into great amount of finicky detail in math. So sometimes for some GMAT is better suited. I won't say either is better or worse. The markets are wildly different. The competition is slightly different. That's a giant overlap in syllabus that I can tell you. Best way to revise for repeaters, whatever topics you have in the bag. Repeaters, you need to have you will have a better sense of your strengths and weaknesses. And some repeaters are, look, I'm a little bit fine in all 3 sections, and I want to get to 75 marks, 80 marks totally. And then some are like, I think Devendu, who said, look, I'm looking at getting 50 in verbal consistently, what should my plan? If you have a very sharp spike in one section, where you can say, any mock, I'm getting 40 marks in verbal or 40 marks in quant, I'll get it. It's super helpful. Hone that strength, play with that in mind. Right? But if you're equal in all 3, take lots of mocks now and revise to fill gaps and to reinforce strengths and dump the weak areas. I'm getting 30 to 35 marks in mocks and I'm stuck. This is from Ashish Kumar. How do I go up from 30 to 35? We'll need to know your sectionals, but if it's 30 to 35, you're basically saying, now you have to say, I'm going to do 1 RC passage slowly, 1 LRDA puzzle slowly, 5 questions in quant slowly. You need to see marks. If you do this and get nothing wrong, you're going to 45 marks. That should be your plan. 1 RC passage completely and 2 other questions that I can confidently answer. 1 puzzle in the bag. 6 questions in quant. You do this, then you're flirting with 47, 48 marks. Get that in the bag. Make a habit of that. Then build on from there. We're releasing a series of videos on how to prep for each level of preparation. One of our favorite themes. It will come in a couple of days or maximum a week. Have a look at that also. It should help. I'm getting decent marks in prep edge question. This is Streaker ready. Can I start solving CAT questions of that particular? Oh, most definitely yes. Prep edge is benchmark is CAT or CAT tougher than CAT. Doing well in prep edge, you're good to go. 20s overall, very disheartening. This is Sakshi Singh. Several people are in that gap, that brigade, Sakshi Singh. So you shouldn't feel that you're all alone here and everybody is ahead. Fine. So lots of people are in that group. You need to consolidate and narrow down your range of attack. You have to simplify the syllabus for this exam. You have to say only arithmetic, only 1 puzzle, only 1 passage. That's all I'm aiming for. 1 passage, 4 questions right. 1 puzzle, 5 questions right. 5 questions in arithmetic in the bag. I'm not attempting anything else. You have to take 2, 3, 4 mocks with this strategy, where you say 12 marks in verbal, 15 marks in LRDA, hopefully, 15 marks in quant. Suddenly you're like, ये तो हो जाएगा. इसमें तो 40 आ रहा है. I'm from 20, I've gone to 40. Chances are your 25 marks are being created by 15 correct answers and 20 wrong answers. 15 into 3, 45, minus 20 non-theta wrong, arriving at 25. You have to say, I have to figure out a way to shrink my paper attempt to get 15 correct answers and nothing wrong practically. That nearly doubles my score. I need to see that to have belief in my system. So shrink your attempts, shrink your paper, limit your variables, then build on that. Will I be able to compete with CA, CFI guys during placement as I am from a non-? Kuch nahi hai. You can compete with anybody. It's the whole thing. I'm an engineer, so I joined with zero experience. I didn't know the first thing about all of these guys said, like, you learn some accounts and some finance and economics. I said, bakwas, andar jaake dekh lenge sab. The accounts and finance is a super intuitive subject. You can learn. You have to put fight. You have to put fight to learn from basic, from scratch, intuitively. But it is something that's very doable. It's not rocket science. You hang in there, you will be able to do. And a great proportion of investment bankers are engineers too, who started their career as who did their undergraduate as engineering. So I worked in the banking industry as an equity research analyst. My day job was to write research reports to buy, sell, hold stocks. I did it for 6 years. When I was trading and punting, I was on the trading floor and writing reports and speaking to clients. And I have no finance background before my MBA. In my MBA, I took a lot of operations course. So not rocket science. Ho jayega. Pad lo, but ho jayega. It's from Dhruv Shimpi. I'm not able to identify in which section does my strength and weakness, since the mock results are fluctuating every time. How can I tackle this? Don't worry about it. You don't have to answer that question. It's also possible that you don't have a banker section spike. You don't have one section that's a super strength or a super weakness. That is fine. Why should you find a strong or weak section? Not a question that needs answering. If it automatically pops out, great. If it doesn't, forget about it. Harsh Khurana, can't seem to attend more than one DALR set anyhow. Even if I get done with the first one within the first 15 minutes. Oh, that moves. And once you cross that, once you reach a point where ek to hui jayega, one DALR set I'm doing, the next point of frustration comes that, look, I'm able to do one. Sometimes I finish one in 15 minutes, sometimes I finish one in 30 minutes. It doesn't matter, I'm never able to do the second one. It will happen. The first one is a big hurdle. Second one, you've done it already once. So it will happen. Hang in there, my friend. NGO volunteering helps in any way in interviews, minimally, not significantly. Everything that is not super tangible and relevant doesn't help in interviews. And Indian interviews are different. Indian admission process are different. And so they give marks for hard variables. They don't account too much for soft variables. And so in a GMAT setting, you write an essay. You can pitch your story as a profile, and you can present yourself beautifully and nail and admit. India में वो सब नहीं चलता है. Sometimes people degrade, but I actually like it क्योंकि वो ज़्यादा gameable है, and that's particularly geared towards richer people who can game it better. And so anybody can get a certificate for saying I have worked at these places as a consulting, as an NGO expert and whatever not. And so India में हो जाता है. And some people can spin it better than others. I personally could never spin something that I had not done. I struggled to spin stuff that I had done. And so I think Indian system is more reliable because it is less vulnerable to con artists. So people just pay coin. So anything that's not super measurable, super tangible on paper, clearly not worth much for our Indian admission cycle. Rightly so. I'm a commerce and ICWA guy. It's a different background. Basic concepts are enough for broad or narrow learning. Yeah, basic concepts are enough. This is MRL gaming. Owning a company come under experience, yes, if it is registered and you are clearly employed and you have been filing ITR and tax returns, you're saying an entrepreneur who has been working, it counts. Arun Sharma, book good for quant practice, yes, but it's super tough. Arun Sharma is good, but it's so many questions are so much tougher than CAT that sometimes it is unnerving. So if you have a good understanding intuitively of what is CAT level, then you can go there. Otherwise, it can intimidate the crap out of you. So just be careful about that. What is your advice for freshers in CAT? Go with joy, go with enthusiasm, go with fun. Say I have nothing to lose and enjoy yourself. So, Mohit Chatwal, starting from today, focusing on arithmetic and algebra, possible to crack CAT? Definitely yes. Start with arithmetic, put it in the bag, sit it down, be the king of arithmetic, then move to algebra. You don't even do both parallel. Algebra in the arithmetic in the bag, then algebra. I have been reading for around a year, but still take around 12 to 14 minutes for RC. This is Ashwin Kritik. That is fine. It's completely fine. 12 minutes for an RC is good speed. There's every chance that you can do 2 RCs completely and 4-5 questions outside of this. or 3 RCs and 2 questions. That's rock star level performance. Right? If you can improve your speed by say 10%, 20%, instead of 12 to 14, if it somehow becomes 10 to 12, then you're flirting with 99.8, 99.7 in verbal, which is brilliant. And from here on, you have 3.5 months. There's no reason why it shouldn't happen. 12 minutes, 14 minutes now is completely fine. I have 5 years of experience. Is placement an issue? No, summer internship could be a slight issue, Harshit, but not placements. Placements variable. By the time placements come around, your CGPA will be the biggest driver and biggest variable. So your experience will fade into the background. 5 years is fine. Lovely, folks. I think we've covered by and large everything. Big range of questions we've covered. Some standard ones, some optional ones. Looking forward to seeing some of you guys for CA, CFA guys. I'm just scrolling through this to know if I've missed some category of questions somewhere. Doesn't look like I have. So let me just see this. I think by and large we have covered all the types here. Brilliant. Once again, as a reminder, this is a wonderful, wonderful offer for our 2024 and 25 courses. Those of you who are not worrying about mocks and CAT now, but just saying, look, I have a year, I'll put my head down and prepare for it beautifully like a marathon, not a sprint. Then jump ahead, try our courses. Every single course on the 2IIM portal as ever is super sampleable, super tryable. You can check us out on YouTube. We have questions for 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Definitely we'll add 24 also. All of these, all CAT questions, video solutions are available on YouTube. The clearest indicator of how we can teach is sitting there on a platter. And we take enormous effort to teach from scratch and be a place that's a friendly place that prepares with a smile. This journey should be fun, otherwise it can become unnerving. Those of you who are preparing super seriously, as we go closer to the exam, the stress begins to rear its head. Stressful is your journey. Have a good support system, have people whom you can speak to, good friends, cultivate that. Hang in there when you have to. It's more about picking yourself up than answering everything right or getting everything right the first time. If CAT doesn't go well, it doesn't mean anything. It means only one thing. But that day, the 2-hour exam didn't go well. Check it, pick yourself up, write some other exam, find some other avenue. This world has N ways to showcase how great you are, how capable you are, how competent you are, how much of a good resource and employee and entrepreneur you can be. It is not, you cannot be reduced to a performance in a 2-hour exam. It's a good chance to showcase what you're about. If it works well, then it's a powerful signal. If it works well, it's a powerful signal. If it doesn't work well, carry on, do something else. And don't increase the stress on this exam by saying, "Ye to hona hi hai, yaar, ye to kitna fight mara hu maine." Don't define this exam from those variables. Keep your cool, smile, enjoy yourself and prepare for this exam. Check out the courses we have. Look forward to seeing a bunch of you tomorrow for our marathon. It's a 12-hour session. One of the ideas was to say, look, if we can hang in there for even 10 hours or 12 hours, why not? There's going to be a certain kinship about it. We're all there together. We guys are going to have a much more relaxed way of doing this. More than one of us is teaching, and we are going to be teaching only for half the time. You take a test, we discuss. So it's not such a big difficult thing for me as much as it is for you. That's how it should be. Fine, I've taken CAT before. So I'm not preparing for CAT. I'm training for CAT. So I've had long days yesterday and today putting all this content together, very worrying about the videos, shooting them and putting them online, all that stress. So tomorrow I'm going to have fun, and I'm turning up to discuss and teach and have fun. Whereas it's going to be more tiring for you guys, which is how it's supposed to be. Embrace that challenge and turn up, and let's have beautiful fun tomorrow. Once again, merry, 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 happy Independence Day to all of you. Optimism has to be an essential feature in life itself, most definitely in life in India. So be super optimistic, look forward to everything that you can look forward to in life, and enjoy yourself. Best wishes for CAT, guys. Cheers. Thank you.